How are you, Marko?
Hi, Hock. I'm
Hello.
great.
Good. It's good to get you back on Consciousness Shift. And today we're going to have a very informative program, I think, and we have little time to lose. So let me go straight on. But before I do that, Marco, can you reintroduce yourself a little bit?
Right. So I am here incarnated in 1991. And firstly, I incarnated as a first patriarch of Andromeda. And now people, in additional, people are asking me, like, how did you got there? I'm like, no, no, you didn't understood. Like, I came from the source to Andromeda.
All right.
So, and then people who are like very intuitive and knows about soul densities, they are asking me, they have a doubt, right? They are asking me, well, how you can teach and heal people if you don't know their suffering? You just incarnated as a 26 density at once. And but no, in meditation I can access that, and I can feel all sorts of things. So yeah, I'm glad I'm here. I was wondering why I'm here, but by the time I really figured out why I'm here, and we have to understand that we are really on the crossroads, not just the planet Earth, but the whole this Milky Way galaxy, and many of souls advanced as I am incarnated here from 60s to now. So this is really, really privileged era. We are privileged to live in this era, and we are doing great job so far.
Oh, fantastic, Marco. So, hello, all star seeds, light workers, light warriors, and way showers, light bearers, and all the rest. Today, we have lots of information for viewers, so please stay tuned to the very end. I am Hockio. I'm an energy healer and energy worker, and I will first give you the very latest world news about the coronavirus situation. And then Marco will cover more in the second half with his uh, bit of information. The first update, to put in perspective, is the worldwide situation. Now, today, 2nd of February 2020, 26 countries have reported the Wuhan coronavirus infection, and they are the latest figures today. So I will read from this list to make it into perspective of the situation. China now reported 14,380 cases of infection with 304 deaths. Next is Japan with 20 cases, Thailand 19, Singapore 18, South Korea 15, Hong Kong 14, Australia 12 cases, Taiwan 10 cases, and the following countries have reported 8 cases so far: Malaysia, United States, Germany, and Macau. 13 on the list is France and Vietnam with 6 cases each, United Arab Emirates with 5, Canada has 4, and the following countries reported 2 cases: Italy, United Kingdom, Philippines, and India. Now, Philippines also reported the first coronavirus death outside China. And the following countries have reported one each: Nepal, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, Finland, Spain, and Sweden. Now, next, I wish to inform some world news that I have gathered and summarized to give a better perspective of what's happening. Travel bans to China has been announced by Australia, United States, Singapore, Malaysia, and Mongolia. Border closures or part of their borders have announced by Russia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and Nepal. Visa bans from traveling to China announced by Singapore, Vietnam, Russia, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and Mozambique. Airlines that have suspended flights to China are airlines from the US, Singapore Airlines, Australia, Vietnam, but Vietnam have only recently in the last few hours lifted that ban. WHO had officially declared it as a global emergency recently, and Italy had declared a state of emergency when it reported the first case. Foreigners in China had fled to Hong Kong in droves, and Thailand has just joined other countries to evacuate its citizens in Wuhan. A little bit about what's been in China is that for badminton fans and sports fans, the China Open Badminton Masters tournament had been postponed. Apple stores are to be closed throughout China, and Hyundai suspends its SUV production. China government also orders Tesla and other foreign companies to shut down temporarily. Chinese government bans wedding reception and orders short funeral services. And a 57-story new hospital is being built in a record 19 days and is already functional. And there are numerous hotel cancellations reported in many, many countries. Apart from these, there are some very negative news associated with the coronavirus, the human response. There had been a lot of racial slurs and discrimination reported in several countries against Asians. Asian students are facing ridicule and isolation. Chinese Canadians fear a bad racial backlash, and in Malaysia as well. There are lots of anti-China and Chinese sentiments spreading faster than the coronavirus. And online scams and dubious products that promote a cure for the infection has also mushroomed. Now, finally, a scientific news. There is a warning from scientists from the US and China on a finding of Tibetan glaciers. They found new virus that can be released from the melting glaciers, which is about 15,000 years old, and there are 28 unknown strains that are being very ancient virus and have never been documented before. The scientists fear with the melting ice and climate change, these viruses may be released. So that's the world update. And on my part, I had been busy as well. And me and another light warrior, Ken Cagley, had been busy for the last, since December. And we had tried to penetrate on the virus outbreak see who is behind. It's only suffice to say that we identified some elements and we have dealt with them. However, as recently as on Friday night, we discovered another group. Oh, Marco, this is too much. There is another group of negative entities, and it was a very huge battle. We had over half an hour, and we ain't finished yet. So that's on what we have been doing. However, a piece of good news is that both Ken Cagley and me, we had individually and together contacted Nikola Tesla, who is on the other side of the veil. That scientist, I tell you, is very busy behind the veil. And surprisingly, Marco, he hasn't heard about the virus outbreak. So
Yeah.
we informed him of the outbreak and told him to um incorporate the healing of those infected with the coronavirus in his healing baits, which he's been working on for the last few months on the other side. And we had sent some patients as um, a test, and we have had very good results, Marco. So Tesla would inform either Ken or me when the healing baits are ready for the coronavirus, and we can help it out in that way. We have means of using it, and obviously we need his permission every time. So, Marco, that's the update, and I'm sure you have lots of things to add.
Okay, yeah, of course I do. So, I am really full of joy when I first saw Tesla. Tesla is really high-ranking ascended master because in this era, uh, all the deep states are trying to just push the Serbian people because of their very rich history and language and ethnology and all of that. And they're trying to say Tesla is not Serb. Yeah, of course he is. So why is that important? Because all the Slavic people and all Germanic people are holding this very specific genetic code
Wow.
that is embedded in them. And Tesla is, of course, a soul incarnated from Sirius B. The right way to pronounce is Sirius B, because B is a Serbian word, yeah, Serbian letter. So Tesla is a man of very few words, and
Yes,
just he just shows up and he just gives you whatever you need and goes away.
exactly, Marco, because we couldn't hold him for more than a minute.
Yeah, but not because he's an arrogant
No,
or
no.
he's just very busy, as you said.
Yeah,
So I was struggling with this stuff, with removing the negative entities and clearing and activating the Alps. I was also working with Can, like I think it was a month ago. We was working last time, and I discovered we was working on we were working on western part of Europe, very specific area, like very stagnant energy and nothing was activated. And we were working specifically on Swiss because Switzerland is very important country because of money and all this stuff. And if we want to do something as a galactic seeds and light warriors, we have to take care to get what we deserve. Okay, just take this. You will not get something will just land on your lap just like that because you're a light worker. No, you have to fight it. You have to get it by yourself. Okay? And I got this information, this message, like 7% of all resources will evenly spread to all galactic seeds and light workers so they can continue doing their soul purpose. Right? At the end, he's explaining this about God first, money second, and then life purpose third. Because if you put life purpose on second place and money on place number 3, you will get money drain life purpose, and then it's not long lasting, right?
Yeah.
So we were doing that, and we expected all the Muslim terrorism and Albanian terrorism in Switzerland falls up to 0% for the next 8 days, I would say. And what was interesting to me that Alps, this big mountain range around the Austria and Germany and Switzerland and Italy, was not activated energetically for 3,600 years.
Wow.
And I was like, this is strange. Like the biggest mountain range in Europe was shut down for 3,600 years.
Too long.
Isn't that strange? Yeah. And I hope that is the last hope for Western Europe, you know, to just get a little bit more aware and conscious of situation we are in, to balance yin and yang energy, to resist all these viruses and migrant crisis and their like moral crisis and existential crisis they obviously have. So yeah, I hope they will have strength to fight.
Yes. And on a feng shui aspect, mountains are very, very important, Marco. I'm glad you have activated it, and that will explain a lot. And a good feng shui should work now. Ha ha.
Yeah, exactly. In the next few interventions, if we work, you may do some recommendations on feng shui. You can see the like geological chart of Europe. Where are the biggest mountains? Where are the highest peaks? Where are the rivers? And where is the water? and
Yeah.
and you can tell by which order we can activate.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's very important.
Okay.
We can use that as well.
Thanks. Yeah. So, uh, any other issues you like to discuss on the?
Well, yeah. Which one you want to hear first, about the new virus or about the DNA? I think the new virus is better because we were speaking about that previously.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so Etienne calls me up
Uh
and
huh.
told like Sophia is not well, his daughter. Okay, so she is Empress of Andromeda. So I, as a patriarch, have a duty to protect her and to take care of her education and to grow up into very beautiful, powerful empress as she is, right?
Right.
So I looked at it and I was like, oh shit, something is happening in Mexico.
Oh.
And I was cleansing this, and I done cleansing on Sophia and protection, make sure everything is all right. So how I do the cleansing of one country? So I look at the borders and close it with a blue wall. Why?
Right.
Because blue has very specific localizing energy, localizing effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see surgeons do the same when they do physical operation. So they sterilize everything
Yep.
before they start operation, right?
Yes.
In energy healing, you do the same. If you do a cut or if you do some inflammation, if you deal with some inflammation, you first close it with a blue wall of light,
Mm-hmm.
and then you cleanse. There, because you know, if you cleanse and and that spreads, you done nothing, right? You have to close it first so it doesn't run away. So I done all of that, and I got this message like Mexico will be uh, will be in great problems due to one virus, and that virus will specifically attack cardiovascular system,
Ooh. Wow.
especially like the arteries and other blood vessels, and it will attack the tip of the heart.
Oh.
So you as a medical doctor know what that means, right?
Yeah.
So it will not look like a classical infarct. It will look like a person is bleeding inside, and uh, it will be no indications like blood pressure will go up or down. It will be like some kind of parasite animal looks gets inside via food or anything like that, or drinking water, and it will attack arteries and tip of the heart. So it will not be like boom, but it will be like popping out, like arteries will pop out from inside.
Phew. That means there's going to be a lot of bleeding, Marco.
Yeah, yeah, internal bleeding,
Oh.
like that. And I was like, why that happened? So why that will happen? And I got that like there are a lot of karmic issues. Um, that virus will probably be artificially produced as many other viruses. They scared us here, like with a pig virus. Do you remember that? Like
Oh.
bird virus,
Yes. 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 That's right.
and it turns out that viruses are healed with a cabbage, like crazy, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, number one, why they're producing these a lot of different viruses is to produce fear because they want to rule with fear. But you see, there is no such uh, big effects like let's say 10 years ago with the pig virus or
Mm-hmm.
bird virus.
Mm-hmm.
So many of the population is waking up,
Mm-hmm.
not
Yep.
just the light workers, but population in general, in their own pace and terms. So yeah, deep states are crashing down. Cabal is way more weaker. financial cabal is almost fully neutralized,
Mm-hmm.
so they cannot do much. These things in Mexico is karmic, and I got no permission to do anything about that.
Oh.
And if we look at the numbers, um, like 1% of population um, will be will have this problem with this virus. Um, so that's like a million and 250,000 people. From that number, uh, I think around 18% will die.
Oh, that's
So
very high.
population has to clean out, you know. Uh, in many very accurate books, uh, all these alchemists are talking about these trash souls drop down into crystals and into the oceans. So when the low vibration, when the energetic climate is really good for them, when the vibration is low, it just that these souls just incarnate. They just hatch.
Oh.
So you know they have to be removed, and they have to go to the healing place
Mm-hmm.
to be recycled, and in order to uh, in order for new process on 3D Earth to start.
I
You know,
see.
it
Marco.
will be time and space separation,
Mm-hmm.
but before that, preparation has to start.
Yeah.
So this 3D Earth will be almost like uh, this Earth now. So it will be not so bad, but they have to pass through it. You know, as a spiritual evolution, that they have to do it.
Yeah, Marco, I have a question.
Yeah,
When you say that what's going to happen in Mexico because of karma or karmic issues,
hmm.
I just get that. Could it be linked to the days where they were practicing human sacrifice?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So, okay, there were three indigenous South American. Okay, I'm not talking about North Americans now. Okay, are you following me?
Yeah, yeah.
So, Mayas, Incas, and Aztec
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
So, uh, there are many numbers of interventions done on human DNA.
Oh.
First, races, human races, I'm physically speaking, were white and red race. Black and yellow race just came from this, like they derived from these races. They're not mixtures, but yellow race came from a white race, and black race came from red race. Because there were just two civilizations, Atlantis and Lemuria.
Yes.
So uh, Atlantis was an ancient home for white race, and later from them derived Germanic people, Scandinavian people, and Slavic people. And Lemurians, they derived uh, all these South Americans and black people nowadays. So if people are wondering how the Aboriginal people are in Australia seated, and how is that happening, because Australia was connected with Africa before,
Oh, right.
you know. and
Yeah,
that was part of Lemurian civilization.
I see.
So, what is the catch now in this story? Why I'm telling this? Certain groups are kept more of this primordial original DNA from either Atlantis or Lemuria, right?
Hmm.
So Mayas and Aztecs, unfortunately, they made the compromises. They started to do these sacrificing rituals to these gods, reptiles, and negative current of Anunnakis, and that's why is this um, um, virus connected to blood.
Oh,
You
right.
see, as you sow, so you harvest.
Ah, right.
That's the law of karma, And I'm sorry, but that has to be cleansed that way. You know, that's the will of God. So it's not like a punishment, like religious, biblical. This like, oh, you will be in the hell forever. No, just soul has to learn a
Mm,
lesson.
yeah.
So I was telling this, you can pay your karmic debts in two ways, by suffering or by serving to God. If you're making many compromises in your life, you will suffer, and that is like 9 times more painful than this other way. Unfortunately, they decided consciously that way. So if like by the time they are here, they will repay their debts like that.
Hmm.
And when they move from this dimension, they will go to the cleansing place or healing place where their souls will be recycled by the source.
I see. So, do you have any idea when this problem in Mexico may occur?
May occur, yeah. Well, as I told, like in food will appear something. It will be like a micro mm, parasite mini organism
Hmm.
that can be uh, that can be got inside the body through the food or drink,
Okay.
and it will start eating the walls of arteries. And when that walls just pop inside, the blood will flow inside, and internal bleeding will be very often, like as a symptom, as a physical symptom. Remember when I asked you, like you're a medical doctor, when I asked you, is there anything similar? And you told me no, there were nothing similar.
Yeah. No, no, no way. This is a very new, this is going to be a very new challenge to the medical community, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the time when will that occur, I was getting 98% of probability between 3 and 6 months from now.
Oh,
So it will be like a summer virus, right?
right.
It will appear like that. And Etienne is telling that will occur, that there are chances for that to occur earlier,
Oh, even earlier.
even earlier, exactly. So maybe in the April.
Well, 2020, as I have mentioned before in my writings, is going to be a year to remember, for people to learn, and also to wake up. Everybody.
Yeah, this is the last train for them, the last chance. If
Yeah.
you don't catch this train, dude, I'm sorry.
36,000 years later. next train.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's what we have been doing. We have always tried to educate and inform people, so that they will wake up and they will realize the bigger picture. It is so important.
Yes.
When you look at the small, small issues, you know, like, for example, racism and, religion issues, it is so small when compared to what's going to happen and
Mm.
how humanity must wake up, work together as one, you know, and cooperate.
Mm.
Each of these incidences asks for cooperation instead of being disunited. That's what I
Yeah.
get. Mm.
Yeah. So it is very important, you know. Um, so why we're talking about this? Um, you see, the soul
Hmm.
is an energetic matrix. Its essence, like it's a very passive essence, you know, a passive component of your being. Um, that is energetic script, and your DNA is a physical script, physical mirror, like a copy of that.
Hmm.
If if there are, as I said before, if there are people as a like a ethnic group, like I'm not talking about eugenic here and racism and stuff like that. Some peoples are better than others. No, I'm telling about tendencies. Okay, don't get me wrong. If there are some groups of people with a certain DNA group, okay, they're holding a specific DNA structure. They are um, less intervened on by negative forces and um, kept more original DNA from either Andromeda, either from Lemuria of or Atlantis, right?
Hmm.
So um, let's take British people, let's say.
Hmm.
Uh, their DNA is very, very changed artificially.
Oh,
We saw how the British Empire looked like
yeah,
and who is their queen
yeah,
and what are they doing, you know?
right.
So, uh, so they will have a lot of karma to pay off. Um, let's take, in other hand, from the white population, let's say, Slavic people. Okay, those are people who never had offensive war in their history.
Mm.
None of them. Like take Slovakians, Czech people, Russians. Like none of them. Nobody. They just have defensive wars.
Hmm. Right.
They're like the Indians of Europe, if you will. They have a very old and very long period of peace and on archaeological sites through all out of Europe where the Slavic people lived, you will never find any weapon whatsoever.
Oh.
They kept uh, 50 to 65% or 66% of original Atlantean DNA.
Wow.
Yeah. if you see, the biggest pressure is on them. Biggest pressure is on Serbians, biggest pressure is on Russians. Inside the European Union, they hate Polish people. They don't like Slovakians. They don't like Czech people because they want to protect their country from migrants. Because they feel and they know they did not deserve this karma. You know?
Okay.
And they will they will be less infected by this migrant crisis than Germanic people and Scandinavian people who had a lot of karma. You know, in general, less spiritually mature souls incarnate by this DNA in these ethnic groups.
Oh.
And spiritually mature groups, like in general, they have a tendency to incarnate here. That's why we have in Russia many alternative medicine, a lot of unusual engineers who are inventing these incredible free energy technologies and herbology and DNA technology and stuff like that.
Yeah. So now I see the reason, Marco. Oh, you. Oof.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't say that, for example, in Austria or in Sweden does not incarnate very old and mature souls, but way less,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's how uh, Galactic Federation and all these elder communities above our dimensions are making the balance.
Oh, okay.
You
Yes.
see, when in Serbia started wars and inflation, we had the second biggest inflation in the world ever in 1993.
Wow.
Ever, like second biggest inflation ever. Seen from 1990 first to 1995, we had 3 or 4 wars at the same time, imposed by deep state of America and European Union.
Wow.
But what the elders did, they sent souls like I am to balance things.
Ah, right.
Right, yeah. So I'm getting that on Madagascar there are a lot of talented kids. In
No.
Australia
Yeah.
now are incarnating very interesting kids. In USA, you know, and that's like the peaceful revolution. They're raising the frequencies and the consciousness up. Like people think the revolution is like oh, we will just destroy the street and just destroy the building and just kick ass of this dictator who is controlling us. No, a revolution is not a physical act. It's a conscious, emotional, and spiritual uplift.
Wow. Oh.
It's a
Ah,
peaceful revolution. So
yeah.
they how they started to rule. They they uh, they bombarded the earth from the moon. They destroyed Atlantis and later, like a few years later, Lemuria, and started here with these blood sacrificing rituals and very slowly with mind control technologies and all that stuff, they they um, let the vibration down and they slowly start to rule. Like they also need 5,000 years, 4,500 years to just get it done. You know, like from 12,000 years ago to their first civilization, they are not first. In Mesopotamia and Egypt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of time passed, the same way, because now we have the energetic climate and support to do that, we will bring the new era back, the era of prosperity, abundance, and spiritual maturity.
Wow. Yeah, I got news that the way wars are going to be stopped is when these young kids, as they grow up, they just refuse to take the weapons. They just
Exactly.
refuse to fight. So what can the governments do? Nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's in these young kids, in these young future generation that will make planet Earth what it used to be, the
Okay.
golden age.
Yeah, I have a niece, like a small girl who is now 5 or 6 years old. I don't know. And she's living with her parents. Her mother is my biological sister. She lives in Düsseldorf in Germany. Like, that kid is another empress of Andromeda, like Etienne daughter is. And the way she is rationally explaining to her parents their unsecure manners are incredible. Like the way how she interacts with environment and with people is amazing. And when you see these kids, what are they capable now to do? It's ridiculous. I mean, one boy started crying in the kindergarten in Germany, in Düsseldorf, and his mother comes and cannot calm him down, and the teacher came, and my niece came, and she's like, she was using just the palm, right,
Oh,
and just touch him on his right arm.
uh-huh.
He's like, why are you crying? Come on, go start playing with me. And he
Ah,
just stopped crying, and he was just looked at her and start playing normally.
amazing.
Like I had a session with a John, the wolf boy.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and he has a 7-year-old son called Mason. And I was teaching John this stuff. I was doing soul and spirit activation to them, like to you.
Hmm.
And I was seeing these shiny white light, and just the sacred geometry just got out from there. And like they're both very good. John is very
Yeah.
psychically clear and strong, but Mason is like a totally different generation. He's like uh, full of healing abilities and stuff like that. And I will start teaching them a little bit of Fogel technology and crystals and stuff like that. And the small kid took the crystal and told like, "Oh, Crystal told me to hold him like this." Like I could talk to him. I could teach him 200 hours, but that's the 7-year-old boy. He cannot know that. He just received all this knowledge uh, energetically, directly, if you will, and he started doing amazing things. Like John was doing something, and he looked between the hands, and he told like, "Oh, I can see the golden line between my father palms." 7-year-old boy. And I was like, this is amazing. This is one of the children I'm talking about.
Right.
They can
Fantastic.
communicate with animals. They can communicate with plants. They can do everything. Like I started to reawake and get my abilities back when I was 21 years old. Like, can you imagine this? What will they do when they
Yeah.
get 21 years old? It will be ridiculous, you know? Like nobody can stop them, and they are so connected with God.
Right.
They're so like their spirit is very strong and playful and aligned. That's the power of God within.
Wow.
If you when you look at that, like yeah, that's why I'm teaching kids. It is not about intellectually gifted kids. It's
Yeah.
not just that.
Yeah.
It's whole different dimension, you know. So yeah, about just about this a very important update and very interesting. It will be for you and your viewers. So in Slavic mythology, we are talking about Svarog. Svarog is the one of the um, three aspects of God.
Mm-hmm.
So it is illusion if you are looking at Greek mythology and all other ancient mythology, way older than Greek mythology, and they will say, oh, you see, they were pagans. They had more gods. No, it's not true. It is the one, they recognize the one God,
Oh.
but the occurrences, the appearances of that
Oh.
God through the year, through the calendar, is different. Sorry. So one of these appearances of God is Svarog, and they're talking about the day of Svarog and night of Svarog. The day of Svarog would be, as I say, the positive energetic climate that supports love and light and similar creative and life supporting vibrations. The night of Svarog, to the contrary, it is a very dark uh, energy climate that supports destruction and creative disorder.
Oh.
Okay, and that is the time when the Earth is the furthest from the sun and furthest from the other parts of the Milky Way. That was the time when the reptiles took the control and stuff like that. So when the night of Svarog is, people start to be creative in a destructive way.
Oh.
They start making martial arts, weapons, and stuff like that. Because I was into martial arts for a long time, I just wanted to access these memories.
Uh-huh.
And I was talking about that in a P2P group, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, there are many masters who were somehow spiritually aligned.
Mm.
They used their knowledge in they didn't misuse that, you know. They were teaching people discipline and yeah,
Yeah.
like many other kung fu masters, like Jigoro Kano, like other jiu-jitsu masters. They were very peaceful and very spiritually mature souls.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't reach any of the memories and knowledge of these masters. And I shared that on P2P group, and I was like, can anyone explain me what's going on? Because I didn't got, like, I cannot access these memories for some reason. And Etienne told, interesting. It's like they are removed and deleted from the time and space. And when I I had like a yesterday
Mhm.
session with one of my students, and we spoke together, and it came to me, these knowledge are not relevant anymore.
Oh,
So you cannot access it. Uh, Not just it's not relevant for me personally, but in general.
oh,
So there will be no martial arts anymore for 20 years from now. There will be no weapon.
there's no need to,
There
Marco.
is no need to exactly. It is not the night of Svarog anymore. It is day of Svarog.
Oh,
And Kenneth Cagle is talking about energy healing baths and transportation devices.
yeah.
That we should work on.
All right.
Martial arts and weapons are history.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, Marco, today is the 2nd February 2020. And the energies today is fantastic. And I
Yeah.
just like to relate our adventure today, this morning. Took me and my family out, and for the first time, we sat on the air balloon and we
Wow.
soared up and up and up away. It was fantastic feeling, but the significance, I got
Mm.
it inside us, inside me. Our energies too are going higher and higher,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
and it's symbolic and parallel at the same time. And it was
Yeah, that's the meaning of the cross.
yeah,
Right?
and it is by chance.
Horizontal connection is between people, and
Yeah,
vertical connection with God human connection.
right. And it was by chance because we never planned to sit in the hot air balloon. Wow. So it's a very significant day. And are there any more things that you would like to bring up, Marco, for our?
No, I just felt the most flowing energy in this interview, in this
Yeah,
third interview. So it will be very interesting when I measure vibration and
yes.
accuracy.
Please let us know.
Yeah, so I will set a P2P group.
Yeah.
I invite people to ask whatever they uh, whatever they are interested on, and to share comments. My
Yeah.
site is andromedianalchemy.com,
Right. Right.
and my YouTube channel is Help Consciousness Rise. Please check that out. And I hope we will grow together and set this planet as a very stronghold of God divine light.
Yeah. And the details, I will put it down below. So for our viewers to look up and connect. And so this I have to say is people, fellow workers, light warriors, stay calm, stay safe, and simple advice for the coronavirus is washing of hands is very important because you touch a lot of public materials. So you wash your hands, and a face mask is okay. It's not going to be foolproof, but it is okay. A surgical face mask would suffice. We don't really need the N95 mask. And if you have no business in town, stay home. All right, and spread the cheer around, reduce the fear, and everything's going to be all right.
Exactly.
Thanks, Marco,
Thank
and
you.
we'll meet again. And I'm so happy. Today is a very significant day. The energies are excellent, And all the best, people. Bye, Marco.
Bye.